Okay, what we've got here is the hardware out of my main rig, or the old hardware out of my main rig. This is the R5 2600 system. I've taken half the RAM out of the home theater PC because I had upgraded it to 16 gigs because I accidentally bought a set of DDR4, but it doesn't need 16 gigs, and this kind of needs DDR4 memory, so there's 8 gigs of DDR4 on this, and I was originally going to put this into the stream encoder computer, but there's one problem. This does not have PCI, it's just PCI Express, and I need a PCI slot, so that isn't going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to insert this into the low-end radio studio as the Slideshow computer, but we're not going to just straight up swap the hardware into the case that's over there. We're going to actually swap it into the case for this. So this thing will be getting a new case, and this case is going to be going into the studio so I can use the case that's there in the server rack, because that case has got more hard drive bays and I kind of need more hard drive bays. So I'm going to pull this out and we will get started. You know, it seems like just recently that I put this together, and now I'm going to be tearing it all apart. Kind of funny how that works, really. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to pull all this out. I'm going to leave the power supply because this power supply should be fine for what I'm going to do. It's not like it's 80 plus rated or anything, but I don't think it really needs that. And I'm not sure if the power supply that's in the current Slideshow computer has got an EPS 12 volt connector. I think it's new enough that it probably does, but I'm going to just leave this in there because I don't feel like pulling out this power supply. So, okay, I've emptied out the case. I have decided after all to replace the power supply, just because that other one has got so much excess wiring on it that it's kind of silly. So I'll put that into something else that maybe needs some of that extra wiring. Or I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what I end up doing with it. But in any event, it'll probably actually end up going back into the new capture PC when I finally build that. But now I gotta mount the new motherboard. Oh, I gotta remove this I/O plate because this plate is not gonna match up with the new board. So take that out, we'll put in the new one, and then I guess the next step is to mount all this stuff, and I'm going to have to get the other machine out so I can take some components out of it and to put into this one. Okay, as the battery on my camera is about to run out, everything but the power supply is installed. I've put this blank in because there's no slot there, so I'm not even going to need that. And I think the only one I'm going to need is the video card. So I've got a couple extra blanks here as well. But now I got to get the power supply in, and all the other stuff, the video card. So I got to get the computer, which I ran a backup on, out of there so I could take the parts out. I should have trusted my gut instinct. This is the existing machine, which has this Seasonic power supply in it, and guess what? It only has a 4-pin power connector. Unless it happens to be sitting on something else, which I really doubt. So, yeah, no, it only has a 4-pin. That's annoying, so I guess that was a waste to pull that power supply out, but I do need this video card, and that's the only thing I need. This is an Ethernet card, which is only in there because the onboard Ethernet on this motherboard is dead. Okay, it's all hooked up, including the power supply I didn't want to use, and it's a real mess of cabling. Unfortunately, because there's only one fan header, and I'm using it for the power supply fan, or one of the two power supply fans, the rear case fan is not going to do anything. So, oh well. Are we ready for this to not work? I bet it won't after all that effort. Want to get into setup. Oh, it does work. Yay! Let me into setup, please. Told you to go into setup. Did it actually work? Alright, so we're now in setup. Everything is supposedly working. XMP is on. Ooh. I thought that was faster RAM than it is. It's only DDR4 2400. That kind of sucks. But everything else should be on. The thing that I didn't check when I built the other computer is I didn't check the SVM mode, which is your virtualization, secure virtual machine. I had it disabled, so I went in and actually enabled it on that one. It is enabled on this one. So, I don't think there's anything I should need to touch. Case open, no. Funny. Funny how that works. But in any event, I don't think there's a whole lot else I should need to touch on this. I think everything should be fine. What does it say the system fan is running at? Everything in here should be fine. I shouldn't need to play with anything. So I'm going to just go ahead and get this booted into Windows so I can actually run a backup of the, or get an image of the hard drive, or the SSD, I guess. So that way I can have a backup in case something happens to that machine. I have a backup of this, so I can just put it in, even though it shouldn't matter. I'm going to take one anyway. So just to keep everything, because then I'm going to uninstall all the crap that's on this and set this up as the Slideshow computer with all the stuff from that Slideshow computer. Okay, looks like that's done. So now I should be able to just take this and put this over to the other side of the room. Clearly this doesn't work on my Surface. So we'll turn it off and we'll install it. Okay, there it is, after messing around with some wiring and stuff. Hopefully everything is hooked up. It needs to be hooked up. But it's all going to work. Of course not. Why would it work after I put it all the way in there? That is so crazy. Okay, so after a couple of encouraging slaps, it seems to be working now, like it should have been in the first place. Don't really understand why it stopped, because everything is screwed into place, so there really was no excuse for that. In any event, I'm going to have to log in here and change the VNC password and stuff. Okay, I do need to reboot it. But it looks like we're pretty much done. You can see everything is configured now. I've cleaned up the install, so the only thing that's left is all of the essential stuff. All the things that were for the old machine are removed, and there is a shortcut here that doesn't belong there. I'll get rid of that. But everything else should be okay. So I think I'm going to wrap the video with that. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And this is CP666 signing off. And I hope to see you next time. Till then. And yeah, I know the power LED is dead. I probably ought to snake one off another machine and fix that.